Hey guys, how's it all going? Tuesday night again. Imagine that, a week and exactly a week later. How about that? Yeah. So, how's everybody doing? There's a few of you already here. Todd Denai is here. Good, welcome along. David Tyree. Who else have we got here? LVG. How you doing, man? Good to have you here. Todd, how are things with you, Todd? You don't want to know. Sounds like you're not quite fit enough to run a marathon yet, mate. Todd, to know my brake shoes came in today. Oh, cool. Well, that's good. Were they hard to get for the Marlin, or are they kind of the same as something else? Chris Freemesser, how are you, sir? Good evening. Cheers. So who else is lurking in the background? There's 12 of you watching, and there's four of you talking. What's going on? Speak up. Tell us all about it. Lane Conley, hey, welcome along. Chris Freemesser, have you heard from Tavo? No, I have not. I reached out to him via email and I've not had a reply, which is a little concerning, I got to tell you. So, yeah, I emailed him yesterday evening, so thought I would have heard something back today, but I haven't. I guess I should quickly double check my emails just in case something's come in the last couple of hours. No, have not heard from, it's official, have not heard from Tavo. So, yeah. I don't know whether anyone's seen him around some of the other live streams or not. I don't know. Stephen Bunkybird, good to see you, Kiwi. Good to see you, man. Paul Funk, good evening, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. Exactly. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps a lot. Lumpy, how you doing, man? Todd Denai, Chris, the brake shoes are easy to get for actually all brake parts, are you? Quite often they're they'll, even some of the odd brands will cross-reference across to other things. It was cheaper to use someone else's brakes than actually make your own in a lot of cases. Yeah. Roy Miller, I'm lurking. Here you go. LVG, excellent. Had my brother's family in town, taught my nephew how to drive a manual trans. Good, man. Well done. We need some young ones that know how to drive a stick shift. And he'll be a hero, like to all his buddies. If he can drive a stick shift, I know that's what happened with my daughter. Like she was quite the thing in high school because she drove a stick shift, and half the boys that were hanging around were like, "Whoa, we can't even drive a stick shift. How do you do that?" So yeah, it was kind of funny. Paul Funk, dealing with smoke from Salt Lake City. Why are you dealing with smoke from Salt Lake City? They're having fires or something? What's going on there? Beagle Bob, welcome along, bud. Glad to see you took a couple of minutes away from all your busyness, because you're always busy doing something. So, yeah, thanks for coming and joining us. Jeff Hutchins, welcome along. So, what else has been going on? What's happening in the shop? Got a couple of Mustangs in, just Mustang brake jobs. Nothing really video worthy, in all honesty. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to watch a video of me doing brakes on a 65 or 6 Mustang. It's drum brakes, and it's pretty ho hum stuff, but they need it done, and it's work. Beagle Bob, damn lawnmowers this week. Oh, really? Chris Freemesser, you've got Mustangs in the shop. Say it isn't so. Mate, I think I've got 6 there at the moment. I think like six Mustangs there at the moment. It's like, good Lord. I don't know where they all hide. There must be some multi-level parking somewhere in Nashville where there's just hundreds of damn Mustangs parked, and they just keep bringing them to me one at a time. It's quite amazing. Paul Funk, fires. Okay, it's going to be a long summer. 99 with 5% humidity. Ooh, that's dry, isn't it? Wow. That's dry and hot. Yeah, the dry heat. I don't really buy into that. Hot's hot. Beagle Bob. And the Camaro was puffing out the vents with the AC on. Ooh. The heater core has been bypassed and one of the old lines had been capped. Cap came off, so I'm hoping it just spilled some on the radiator. Oh, okay. I see. That will do it. Pop's Mustang Shop. Has anyone used Munro coilover load leveling shocks? 83 Dodge D150 pickup as my project. Actually, no, I haven't used them. I've seen them many times. They do have fairly soft springs on them. I think they help a little, but I'm not sure how much. They might give you, I would say maybe an inch at best. Because I've taken a few sets off. But that's usually in conjunction with changing the springs that they're controlling, and putting some more conventional style shocks on, just kind of getting it. It sounds a bit harsh, but getting it fixed properly, those coilover type things. I mean, a true coilover shock absorber is a completely different thing than those load levelers. The load levelers are a little bit of a stopgap. They're a bit of an easy way out. Very similar to air shocks, really. And air shocks are good if you just want a little bit, but you're asking a lot of your shock absorber mounts, because typically that's all they're designed for, is just absorbing the shock, not carrying the car. Old timer, what makes someone think a Fox body Mustang can be worth 30 or 40 grand? It's crazy, the prices I see on some of them. Well, they are becoming more popular. The timers, they're getting older. The Fox bodies are getting a lot older, and they're becoming much more appealing to the younger set, because they have those 30-year-old guys have got a stronger connection to those cars than people our age. It's just how it is. But 40's certainly getting up there. I mean, a real low mileage, really nice one, well-spec'd one, I can see 30. But it would need to be pretty special. In saying that, I believe that red Mustang that I did the PPI on, that's showing sold on their website. So they either like ditched it and said it was sold, to get it, with the bad press it got, or what I suspect is someone came along, saw a bright retail red Mustang, fastback, made the right noises, and put the money down, and put a deposit on it, took on the payments, and off they went. And that's what I said to the owner. I said, if you don't buy it, then someone else will. Because he was going to kind of wait a while and try and ah. And I said, well, either be in or be out, because, it's red. It ticks most of the boxes if you don't look too close, and someone's going to buy it. And it looks like they did. Now, Jeff Hutchins, been hot here in the mid-90s, but going to rain on Thursday and be 71 that day and Friday. 71's not bad. I like that. In the 70s, I can deal with. In the 80s, it's getting too hot. Brad Eastland, welcome along. Hope everyone is having a great Tuesday/Wednesday. Yes. So, no, I am. Bigger Bob, I love supplemental air springs for load leveling. Yeah, that's a good setup. Those are the genuine, real deal. They actually they do the job that they promise to. Shall we say? And they're in a position where load is meant to be taken. So, yeah, that's kind of the way to go. if you can. More expensive, I'm sure, but hey, you know. Matthew Ward, howdy y'all, welcome along, bud. David Tyree, you buggers are lucky, bloody winter here. Ooh, yeah, but you can put on more clothes when it's winter. Like people look at you sideways when you just, you know, 3/4 naked in the workshop. Not a good look, and the sparks are brutal. Chris Freemus, 80 cars increasing in value. Yes, us kids of the 80s have the dollars to buy the cars of our youth now. Yep, exactly. That's what it's all about. 80s cars are definitely, that's the next kind of hot market, really. Because people buy these cars because of their connection, usually. I mean, you get a few young guys that want, old Camaros and Mustangs. You do, but for the most part, it's guys that remember them from their youth, and it's, it's just a cool old memory to buy one, and, one of those cars that they looked at back in the day and went, oh, man, I'd love to have one of those. I'm going to get one of those one day. And one day's rolled around, Old timer. I bought one new in the fall of '88. Paid 11,800. Yep. You wouldn't get much of a Mustang anymore. Of a Fox body for 11,800. You'd get one, relatively easy, but it wouldn't be a great car. Jeff Hutchins. I much prefer winter. It's a lot easier for me to get warm than to get cool. I agree. It's like throwing a pair of thermals and get out there in the winter and you'll be fine. But summer, it's brutal. I'm fucking toasted by the end of the day when it gets hot. Chris Freemius, I'd rather have winter than summer, and it snows like a bugger around here. It does snow a lot up there, doesn't it? David Tari, I prefer the heat. Yeah, I know. Everybody's different, aren't they? I know a couple of people like that. They hate the cold. No rights or wrongs. It just is what it is. Beagle Bob, I bet if you emptied out your scrap bin, you could make 90% of the Alpine you started with. Oh, mate, you haven't seen it all yet. Trust me, there's more coming. I just keep cutting and cutting and cutting. And it's I don't think we've hit 90% yet, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of new in there. Brad Eastman, anyone struggling with audio? Oh, I hope there's not too many of you. Chris Freemius, audio is fine. LVG, audio is out of sync. Okay, not sure what that's about. Let me try and see if I can turn off a few bits of Wi-Fi here and try and free up some Wi-Fi. So, hang on, guys, just a second. It'll only be a moment. Okay, guys, just turning off the TV that takes Wi-Fi. Turning off the Wi-Fi on my phone, see if that makes a difference. Paul Funk. So I googled Jensen Interceptor and forgot just how ugly they were, and I'm not sure I've seen one in person. Yeah, there was a few. I don't think I've seen one here in the States, but there was a small handful around in New Zealand. New Zealand got a lot more British cars than American. So, but yeah, they. No, I haven't seen a Jensen here. It amazes me how many Alpines are here, though, in the States for an English car. The Americans kind of took to them pretty strongly. Lineworks Genetics. You're a new commenter, so hey, welcome along. At least I don't remember seeing you in here before. I'm following your Sunbeam build and still have a few episodes left. I'm working on a 67 Alpine and plan to LS3 swap. Any broad guidance on beefing the frame for that kind of power? Watch the videos and watch what I'm doing. the video I'm kind of halfway through making right now is all about the torque boxes in the back and connecting the rear chassis rails into the rockers. But I've gone fairly radical on mine. I've cut out all the X-frame and everything out of it. So I'm kind of really reinventing the wheel on that car. But honestly, tell you what I do see in that car, and I don't think I've mentioned it on the videos, but cutting it up and taking things out, a lot of the spot welds are very poor. A lot of them pop with ease, even if they're connected at all. So if you're going to keep it fairly stock, I would go around and what they call seam weld it, which is a term we used to use in rallying, where basically you go around and weld all the edges, all the seams, on as well as whatever spot welds are there, just to help tie the car together a bit better and stop some of the flex. But given how poor a lot of the spot welding is, now keep in mind, mine's a 61. So I don't know whether they got better at spot welding by the time they hit 67. I don't know. But yeah, between like doing some serious seam welding, making sure all the spot welds, and you really can't tell. You really just got to, until you actually try and cut them open. You get in there with a spot weld chisel and you smack it with a hammer and it just goes ding, 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 and you pop 3 of them and it's like, oh, shit, that really wasn't welded together with a damn. But you don't necessarily want to go doing that, if your car is, decent shape. But some seam welding, obviously you're going to burn up a lot of paintwork and stuff like that, and make some cleanup work and need seam sealing again and things like that. But yeah, make sure you just get rid of all, whatever rust is in it. The rust, Alpines are prone to rust. They've got lots of little areas that catch water and dirt, and make sure the rust is out of it. Any rust in these unibody cars compromise. Rust where there's holes. I'm not talking about light surface rust, but rust where there's holes, little corners rusted away, missing. It compromises the frame. It really does. Repair any rust, and I would go around and seam weld it. Like just weld every spot welded seam that you can get to, with a big or a gas welder. It'll take you a little bit of time, but that's what's going to tighten it up. So there you go. Josh Homan, good here. Chris Freemasser, audio is in sync for me. Maybe reload the stream or fix it. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Brad Eastman had to restart it. Okay, did that help, Brad? Jeff Hutchins, I'd like to have a 3rd gen Camaro convertible, but they've never been reasonably priced, too rare. About the only 80s car I would like, maybe a G-body. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you do not see many Gen 3 convertibles. No, you're right. No, you don't. Chris Freemasser, that Alpine is turning into the ship of Thesis. Oh, there's more to come, mate. There's more to come. Trust me, there's more to come. Chris Freemasser, if you told me I could have one 80s car, it would be a Mark II VW Sirocco 16 valve. Pretty car. I know the one you mean. They are a pretty car. Light, sporty, nice. I'll tell you a car I've kind of fallen in love with recently, and I was watching one on a movie. And I'm only halfway through the movie, but there's a movie called, what was it called? What's it called? Something like Learning to Drive in the Rain, or something like that. I'll have to look it up again. And it's about a guy who's an aspiring Formula One driver, and just a little bit of melodrama mixed in with that. And the movie's not bad, but he's driving a gorgeous, like about a 1970 to 72 BMW 3-litre CS, and man, those are pretty cars. I know I love American cars, and I always will. That's not going to change. But man, that early 70s 3-litre CS, they made a CS, a CSI, and a C something else. I can't remember. But they are super pretty car and pricey. But hey, it doesn't cost anything to look, does it? Right? So yeah, that's good. Yeah. So the Sirocco's your 80s car. My 70s car is officially a BMW 3-litre CS. Nice cars. Jeff Hutchins, my audio was in sync, but I've had some trouble with live streams in the last month. Okay. Lane Connolly, any large March progress? None at all. No, I walked past it and said hi the other day. That's just not really progress, is it? No. I was surfing through Facebook eBay on Father's Day, and saw a couple of things there that I actually, some bits of trim and stuff like that mine's really beat up on, and I stumbled on a couple of pieces like that, hit the old buy it now button, so they're on their way. But again, not really progress, is it? So sorry. Zolly's Auto Clinic, what's your opinion on the old 403? 403. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest with you. I do like the Oldsmobile engines. There's no real inherent weaknesses like some engines have with that. The 403, I think, is just the bigger brother slightly to the 394. And the 394 is a great engine. But 403 is still just I think they all share the same block on all of them. Yeah, here we go here. Lucas Spot Welder strike again. Chris Freeman, yeah, you're probably right there. But yeah, it continues to give. Every time I chisel something off, I'm like, wow, this thing really wasn't welded together well. Yeah, that's what I'd be doing. Seam welding it, just going over everything. Jeff Hutchins, Olds 403. It is one of the engines of all time. Actually, I don't know anything about it. Just being a smart ass. I don't know. That's not that helpful, Jeff. Really, just tell them it's the best motor of all time and stick with that story. No, I don't. I really do think they're a pretty good engine. Those other, the Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Buick, they took a lot of pride in their engines and their uniqueness and their Oldsmobile-ness and their Buick-ness. They built some pretty good engine. Josh Homan, I don't think they got better. The British auto industry was notorious for bad quality. This is true. Lineworks Genetics, awesome. Look forward to seeing the rest. I've got about as much body work to do as you did. Wow. My first time. So wish me luck. First time. That's ambitious, man. That's ambitious. I mean, I stand back and go, whew. So yeah, if that's your first time, good for you, man. Watch the videos, and hopefully they're helpful for you. I really do. So where are you based out of, Lineworks? Are you like here in the States or England, or where you out of? What? David Torrey, if it's English, it's prone to rust. Yeah, yep, that's true. One of the problems with England, and a lot of it is more to do with, what they do to their roads. Like they use salt everywhere in England, and England's geographically pretty small, big population, but pretty small. So there's an awful lot of coastline on England. So you're getting hammered by the ocean, the salt, the sea salt, and then you're getting hammered by the salt they put on the roads during winter because they get lots of snow and ice and stuff. So, and I don't care who made it. If you drive it in salt, it's going to rust. I swear one of those Cybertrucks would rust away. The stainless steel Cybertrucks would rust away if you drive it on enough salt. Salt just eats everything. It eats concrete, for goodness sake. Salt will eat your concrete. So yeah, it's going to eat your car, and the salt doesn't care what brand it is. Todd denies, sorry, but I had an urgent call come in that I had to answer. Fair enough, but that's fine, not a problem. David Tyree, Jeff Hutchins, smarter? Surely not. What do we got? Calvin F. Do you remember the problems Honda had with their car plant in Nelson in the 80s, early 90s? Apparently, they never had enough juice in the spot welding machine. I'm not familiar with that, man. I'm not familiar with that. What was going on? Were they popping apart at the seams? Tell me more. Jeff Hutchins. Now in the 90s, I have a huge list of the cars I want. I'm mostly a truck guy. I like all decades of them, some more than others. Not a big 60s GM or Ford trucks until 67. Then a big fan. The Chevy, like the 66 Chevy truck, is not a pretty truck. 67, night and day. I agree. And Ford, yeah, same kind of thing, really. 67 was a good year for cars, American cars. They came out, with quite a few new body shapes, body design, but they were just some pretty cars in 67. David Torrey, no problems with Nelson Hondas that I'm aware of. Okay. Jeff Hutchins, David Torrey, knowing you're a smart ass is the key. There you go. Some logic to that, yep. Here we go. Chris Freeman, the first step towards solving your smart assness is admitting you have a problem with smart assness. That's too many syllables, Chris. That's a lot. It's hard to read, especially for an old boy with a drinking problem. And the problem is that glass keeps getting empty. That's the only problem. Paul Funk, I got in trouble last week for saying that a Jensen Interceptor is better looking car than a Dodge Charger. Oh, mate, you didn't get in trouble. No, I'm never going to get weird about someone's preferences in cars, because I'm very much past that, decades ago. You like what you like. Yeah. My bucket list includes an AMC Pacer. So, what are you going to do about that? Mrs. K just looks at me and just shakes her head, and she's like, she looks like does not compute. It's like she looks at the car, looks at me, looks at a picture of the car, looks at me, and it's like, yeah, it's like, you ain't right, boy. Jeff Hutchins, I don't know diddly about old Pontiac and Cadillac V8 engines. Not much about Ford small blocks either. Stuck with straight sixes, Mopar, Cummins, Ford diesels, and Chibbies. That truck thing again. Yeah, fair enough. You definitely get into your comfort zone, don't you? Todd Denio, Chris, 67 was an excellent year for cars. Absolutely it was. And Mrs. K was born in 67, so, it was a good year on many fronts. Jeff Hutchins, Todd Denio, so I did know something about the 403. I was pretty sure it was the 6.6 litre in Pontiacs. I'm smarter than I thought I was. Big surprise to me. Yes, I know they did a bit of cross-pollination between the Pontiacs and like some of the Trans Ams came out of the factory with Oldsmobile engines, didn't they? And I really don't know what that was about. I don't know why they chose to do that. Were they short of motors and went to Oldsmobile and said, hey, can we have a couple of thousand 6.6s, or like what went on there? What was that about? Anybody know? Todd Denio, the old 403 was an excellent engine, in my humble opinion. Fair enough. It's all about, like the run you've had with it. Like you drive these things, and if they treat you well, you're like, this is great. And if it constantly shits the bed, well, you kind of end up not liking them. Chris Freemesser, what are we going to do about your AMC Pacer fetish? Take away your bourbon to start with. It might be not a bad idea. Oh, Paul Funk, that's just wrong and un-American. Oh, Lord. Limeworks Genetic. I was planning to redo floor pans, a couple of fenders, and a rocker, but seeing what you found internally scares me. I was a military welder, so at least I'm going in completely blind. Well, that helps. That definitely helps. Yeah, it's hard to know how rusty. I don't know. The 60. What year was your one? 67, 66, 67. I think you said. They had changed the chassis quite a bit, I believe, in 67. Certainly from the firewall forward they had, and some in the trunk. I'm not sure about the X-frame setup. But the X-frame was notorious for catching dirt and catching salt and rusting away. So yeah, you probably, if you can, get a rotisserie and get it upside down. Because if it's got much going on underneath, you need to get it upside down. It's worth the effort to do that. I mean, my one's going on a rotisserie in the not too distant future. And some of that, I mean, most of the underneath I've cut out anyway, but I'm putting it on the rotisserie so I can turn it over and weld up the stuff. I hate welding on my back. It sucks. And it's very hard to get good welds, good strong welds upside down because you're compromising between how much heat you can pour in and fighting gravity and stuff like that. It is just, doesn't really matter how good a welder you are. Well, if you were a military welder, it's more difficult. I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? So, it's harder to weld upside down. Can you do it? Absolutely. But yeah, so I'm saving a lot of welding on the Alpine, put it on the rotisserie, tip it over, and, spend a couple of days welding. Brad Eastman. A 90s English car, or if I could buy one. Mark II Escort, please. Yeah, Mark II Escort was a great car. They're making brand new body shells for those things now. Franklin Cormorant. Okay. Welcome along. Good to have you here. I'm a mechanic by vocation, which is considered a skilled trade. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm in awe of your bodywork. That to me is a highly skilled trade that would take decades for me to master. Well, and that's how long it took me, yeah. And I've been going at it for a lot more than a couple of decades. So, and you learn, you change, improve, learn new things every day. But thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Kelvin F., I was probably one of the first to see the inner beauty of an AU Falcon. That wasn't their best work, was it, the AU Falcon? Yeah, they kind of went out, I think anyway, my theory, is they kind of went out on a limb a little bit and they really changed the design dramatically. And I think they were kind of trying to be ahead of the curve and come up with something really new and out there and brilliant, but they just missed it by, what did Maxwell Smart? Missed it by that much. And then as they went on a couple of models in, they really got it right. And yeah, if they just could have launched with, a couple of models later on from that AU, as an AU, they would have dominated, I think. But they really did come right in a big way. David Torrey, I'm with you. I quite like the Pacer. Oh, good. Welcome. We can have our own little two-man club. Pacer lovers. There you go. I just think they're cool because they're silly, because they're crazy and ugly and again really out there for the design. It's like the pacer to me looks much more something you'd expect out of France, something like that. But to come out of America, it's quite un-American looking, to my eye anyway. But hey, and it would just be, for me, it would just be fun to drive around and pull up, and people going, I haven't seen one of those for 30 years. Well, my mum had one, and the whole Wayne's World thing and all that stuff is, it'd be fun. Not exciting to drive or anything like that, but just fun, turning up to Cars and Coffee and that. Like, you'd have a lot of people around the car looking at it, shaking their heads, going, oh my God, that's ugly, but still looking, not wanting to walk away. They'd be wanting to look at it, walk around it, and go, and comment about, it's kind of cool, but I wouldn't want one, but it's kind of cool. Len Conley, putting 47 rally wheels on my 68 Valiant. Not a lot of choices with the small bolt pattern, right? Getting rid of the left-handed wheel studs. Yes, that's a good idea. Really, they're still doing that in 68. That's crazy. I didn't realise they were still putting left-hand threads on in 68. I thought they'd kind of grown out of it by then. Zolly's Auto Clinic. It's currently the engine in my 77 Olds wagon. Just trying to figure out if it's worth or able to have a bigger cam stuck in it and give it a better idle. I really can't see why not. There's arguments to be made that, you can make more power with a big block Chevy or a 383 small block, or it's probably a list of engines that could technically be made better, but so can the 403. Is it better than a 400 Pontiac? I suspect there's not much in it. Is it better than a 400 small block? I don't think so. 400 small block was not all that. It led to some interesting combinations, like the 383 and stuff like that, but just the 400 small block from the factory was a smoke motor. It was just a big blare. It would respond to work like pretty much any engine will. So, I wouldn't. 77 Olds wagon, I would not change the engine in it, mate. I mean, a 455 would definitely be on the table, because that's just a direct, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm reasonably sure, it's just a direct bolt-on. And, no substitute for cubic inches, but 403 is still a big engine, and put a cam in it, put some headers on it, make it sound nice, be a cool wagon. Todd denied. Chris, GM dropped the Pontiac 400 and Pontiac didn't want to not offer a 400 in the Firebird and Trans Am. Okay, that's my question answered. I figured it was something like that. There had to be some reason. Was that kind of was that talked about at the Pontiac dealer? Like when you went in to buy a new Trans Am, did they say, oh, by the way, this brand new Pontiac Trans Am has an Oldsmobile engine in it? Or was that kind of hush-hush? I have this this imagined theory in my head that they didn't kind of, that was only mentioned in hushed tones, like, oh, it's a Pontiac engine. It's not a Pontiac engine, but they didn't tell the punters that, the people coming in to test drive them. Is that what was going on or not? Jeff Hutchins, there's nothing to bodywork, just screen expanding fiberglass, wadded up newspaper, and vats of Bondo. At least that's what I've found in my stuff. Yeah. Screens, yes. Done unfortunately, done a little bit of that back in the day. But sometimes you were just trying to put a quarter decent face on a POS just to make it, go another year or two and be done with it. That was back when bodywork was relatively cheap. Now it's freaking expensive. Todd to know line works. I missed the car you're talking about. Okay. Now I've gotten a bit behind here. Let's see if we can't catch it. Chris Freeman said, don't forget about the pop rivets and self-tapping screws. Yes, popped a few rivets in bodywork back in the day, back in my teenage years when I was flipping cars. Only old pieces of shit, nothing nice. But just, to make a few bucks to try and buy something nice. Todd and I saw a chip foose rendering of a Pacer panel delivery. It looked cool. Huh. Well, if someone could put a good, a cool spin on an ugly car, it would be Foose. He's good at that. Jeff Hutchins, oh yeah, don't forget rivets and screws. You have to have some structure. Oh, Lord. Yep. Hang on. Shot up the page again. I'll figure out how to stop that. Hang on. Well, a long way back here. There we go. Paul Funk, what's the rarest or lowest production car that anyone has seen in person? For me, it would be a Tucker. I'd have to say the same thing. I've only kind of seen one in the museum, but I can't think of. Actually, I think I did. I went to that Peterson Auto Museum in Los Angeles, and down in the vault, they call it. They had a couple of European cars. One that comes to mind was a absolutely gorgeous 1930 something Bugatti convertible, and it was this is back in the coach built era. So it was a one of one, coach built for some millionaire type back in the 1930s, and was one of one. But it was just gorgeous, absolutely just beautiful car. And someone found it being used as a chicken coop, or so the story goes, according to the guy doing the tour of the vault. It was being used as a chicken coop, and they retrieved it. They found the original engine for it somewhere else completely, as in a different country. But they somehow found it and put it all back together. And it's one of those. It's the price is like a couple of zip codes. It'd be huge. Back in the late 70s, early 80s, General Motors used engines from numerous makes in any one make of car. A Chevy could have an Oldsmobile engine, or a Pontiac one, or a Buick one. Oh, really? I didn't realise they were that incestuous. Interesting. Andy Nickel, welcome along, sir. Good to have you here. Limeworks. I'm in Texas. Car sat in a barn since at least 86. From my research, it was one of the last 100 made of the Series 4 in 67. It was a family car and free, so glad I get to save it. Yeah, well, my one sat in the barn for, I don't think it was like 20 odd years. And quite a number of barnyard animals had died in it. There was several skeletons removed from that car, which is part of what made it rust. Like, barn finds are not all that. They're not like the holy grail by a long shot, because where barns are full of critters. Some are meant to be there and some are not, like the rats and stuff like that, mice and stuff. But they all love it. All those creatures love a barn because it's warm and dry, and the cars are nice, cozy little nooks and crannies everywhere. And so like my Alpine, I took the driver's seat out of that car. I just, kind of accidentally. Like the guy told me there was no real rust in the floor, and I grabbed the seat and shook it, and it came out. And I lifted the seat out of the car, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, you did not need to unbolt the seat. There was not. I just lifted it out. Didn't have to swing on it or anything. It just lifted out. A few bits of floor hanging onto what used to be once upon a time the bolts that bolted to the floor." So yeah, but a lot of that was all the critters that had died in it and lived in it, and yeah. So, Limeworks, you'll be interested to see how my Mustang floor goes in the Alpine. That's going to be an interesting one to see if that theory works. So. Chris Freeman, Paul Funk, out in the wild or in a museum. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, both of the cars I mentioned are in museums. Oh, Todd Denai, yeah, Limeworks, what is it? Yeah, 67 Alpine is what he's talking about, Todd. You probably figured that out by now. David Tyree, Paul Funk, probably the Gullwing. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those in real life, museum or anywhere or otherwise, They're pretty special cars. Those Gullwings are something else. There's people making nice fiberglass bodies of those now. They're gorgeous cars. Josh Homan, in the early 80s, they threatened to give you not just an engine from another make, but actually from another division from around the world. Oh, really? Wow. Jeff Hutchins, practically every GM car line had a Buick motor in the 80s and 90s. Their V6 family was in everything, plus Rovers and Jeeps. Yep, that's true. That 2.8 right through to the 3.8, that went in all sorts of vehicles. That went in Holden Commodores in Australia. That went in all sorts of things. Todd Denai, Limeworks, okay, cool cars. Well, you've got to say that, Todd, don't you? Like everyone here has to say they like Sunbeam Alpines. Like that's entry fee. Chris Freeman, so honestly don't mind the Pacer. At least AMC tried to do something different. Exactly. Yeah, they went out there on a limb, and yeah, but that was AMC a little bit too, wasn't it? They did some oddball stuff. They had some ballsy designers. And yeah. Pacer looks like a Geo Metro. Really? Beagle Bob? A Geo Metro. I'm not really seeing that, bud, to be honest. I'm kind of picturing it in my mind, but it's like, I'm not really seeing that. Huh. Interesting. Buddy Caro Fano, can I join your club? I'll get a Gremlin. There you go. That gets you entry. Yep. Gremlin's a cool old car. Yeah. They were a little bit more, not as out there as the Pacer was, but different enough, David Torrey, Paul Funk, also chassis number 1, 25th anniversary Lamborghini Countach. Wow. Chassis number 1. Yeah, that would be extremely, extremely rare. Todd Denio, Beagle Bob, no, the Metro looks like a Pacer. Well, the Metro did come, the Pacer did come first, didn't it? So, Paul Funk, anywhere in person. Okay, fair enough. We've set the criteria. Yeah, I'd have to see the rarest one was that Bugatti. And certainly one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. I just stood there. I just looked at it. I just walked around it. Like I did several laps, and it's like, this thing's beautiful. It's quite breathtaking. The lines were you just couldn't fault it. There was not like, if they just made that a bit longer or shorter or lower, or but no, it was beautiful. Now, what have we got? Not sure when France got involved, but Peugeot owned AMC in the early mid-80s at least. Interesting. It's funny that I say the Pacer, would have made more sense in my head to have come out of France, and Peugeot's French. I wonder if there's anything in there. Huh. That's pretty wild. I had no idea. Brad Eastman, agree. I hate welding on my back. In fact, I can only think of one thing I like doing on my back. What's that, Brad? He says unwittingly. Gremlins are cool. Yes, Todd and I. Yes, they are. You're right. Josh Homan, the Metro looks much saner than the Pacer does. I'll give you that. Yep, I'll give you that. Dale Fountain, good evening, Kiwi. Good evening, Dale. Good to have you here. Thanks for dropping in. Chris Freemesser, Tucker at the Henry Ford Museum. They also have JFK's limo from Dallas there. Yes, they do. That's an amazing museum, isn't it? The Henry Ford Museum. Yeah, that's an awesome place. If any of you haven't been there and get the chance, get close, go there. And it's not all Fords. They've got Cadillacs in there. They've got planes. They've got trains, like literally planes, trains, and automobiles, genuinely. And houses. They've got like some 50s futuristic housing stuff in there where they made these houses. Chris will probably remember it, I would think. Houses that were almost shaped like from an aerial view, like a pizza, and they were like pie slice or a pie. You know, they were little wedges, and you could design the house, and if you wanted an extra bedroom, you changed one of the slices for another bedroom and took something else out. That was all modular, but it was all like pizza pie shaped and cut. Quite, really out there. Someone, like, I don't know. I mean, it never caught on, but it was like, that was really outside the box thinking. Chef Hutchins, Brad Easton, sleeping being the other thing. Yeah, see, I sleep on my side, so yeah, that's not my thing. Todd and I, driveway. Yeah, AMC did try to be different. Few people know the Jeep XJ was designed by AMC. No, I did not know that. They think it was designed by Mopar when it wasn't. Interesting. But the Jeep XJ is a real box, isn't it? There's nothing really out there as far as the design goes on an XJ. Pretty good design, I'll give them that. But yeah, not edgy. It's square and boxy, but not, figuratively speaking, not edgy. Chris Femesa, painting the ceiling. Michelangelo, there you go. Now, Josh Homan, Renault owned AMC in the early 80s, then Chrysler bought them up. Huh. Renault. So was it Renault, not Peugeot, or both, or what was that about? Renault's French as well, of course. Barry Cooter. Now he's bashing the 400 Chevy motor. Unsubscribe. Oh man, don't do that. I don't think I was bashing it. I was just being honest, It wasn't, the 400 wasn't like the crown jewel and the big jewel in Chevy's crown. I don't think it was. I think the 327 was, personally. The 400, I mean, just had its shortcomings, like a lot of things do. Driveway of Misfits, Barry Cooter. Well, look who showed up. Busy Wednesday. Yeah, apparently. Solly's Auto Clinic. That was my other consideration, a big block, LOL. It's a bolt-in deal, but I figure if I'm going to go big block, I'm going to do a lot more than just a cam. Mate, that's the dilemma that sits in front of you, isn't it? Like, do you just do a cam or, like, go big, or what do they say? Go big or go home, So, yeah. Mate, the 403's its heart and soul, and just put a cam in it. Just put a cam in it. and go. That'd be, Yeah, if you get a 455, you've got to find one. You're probably going to need to rebuild it because you won't want to just put it in on the hope that it's any good. Just, you've got a known quantity there. It's already in there. You can just switch a cam out with the engine in place and have some fun with it. Yeah, that's what I'd do. Barry Cooter, I've been lurking. Yeah, I see. Just watching from a distance. Okay. We've this is interesting thing. It's 7:55. We've had 55 minutes of talking about cars. That I think is a record. Barry Cooter, don't go changing the subject to Saveloys and tripe and stuff like that. So we're on a roll here talking about cars on a car show. Imagine. Jeff Hutchins, I guess it was Renault, but I suspect Peugeot was a sister company because I'm pretty sure they had a Peugeot diesel in the Cherokee. They did have a diesel in the Cherokee. I have no idea where it came from, but it could well be a thing. It wasn't a great diesel, if I remember rightly. David Tyree, Barry Cooter, is that like stalking? Yeah, it is, mate. It is. Yeah. He was stalking us. Similar, Barry Cooter. Well, there you go. He agrees. We agree on something, Barry Cooter. How about that? That's a good thing. Now, where did you go? You just shut up the screen again. Oh, dang it. And Mexican Specs here. Welcome along, man. Wow, I'm like several pages behind. There you go. Here we go. Chris Freeman said, don't forget the PRV engines, Peugeot, Renault, Volvo. Ooh. Steve Sadusky, hey, welcome along, man. The zombies were tough today. Yeah, that can happen. Jeff Hutchins, I remember my dad's boss's wife had an AMC Eagle when I was a kid. I thought it was it was so cool. 4-wheel drive car with some ground clearance. Yeah, that was the beginnings of the SUV, wasn't it? Who would have thought back then that the SUV was going to dominate car sales, like absolutely dominate car sales? Time to know, one of the other companies that eventually became AMC was Rambler. Rambler developed an original innovation that every car eventually used. What was that? Rambler invented the steering wheel. Really? I did not know that. I know way back they had a tiller, like literally a lever that you just move from side to side that turned the steering. It was called a tiller, just like on a boat. But I didn't know Rambler and came up with a steering wheel. It's cool. David Tyree, a guy from Aussie, found a Dodge Daytona in the States being used as a chicken coop. He bought it and shipped it back to Oz. There you go. That's the way to buy them, man. Mexican Spec. Yeah, hey, Max. Good to have you here, man. Steve Sadusky. Hey, Kiwi, I need your email address again, please, so I can put my order in for more T-shirt. Okay. Don't go away. I will type it out right now. There you go. Done. Mopar Man. Bill Bob. Yes, what else is going on here? Jeff Hutchins, XJ came out in 83 as an 84 with a 2.8 litre V6, 254, 8790. The Renix controlled EFI 4 litre was available. 91, much better 4 litre HO with the. He's a man who knows his Jeeps. That's way more information than I had in my head, I can tell you. That 4 litre is quite a good engine, though, isn't it? It's quite similar to the Valiant, the Australian Valiant Hemi 6, I believe. I think. But Barracuda will be able to chime in on that one, I'm sure. Steve Sadusky, I'm dedicating one of the Large Marge t-shirts to be pinned up in my garage wall above the beer refrigerator, of course. Good man, well done. Awesome. Brad Eastman, Cobra Daytona, hand-built. Good story behind that car. Yes, indeed. Yes. Very rare car. Lane Conley, what current model automobile uses every vowel in the one-word name? Oh, I'm not very good at these puzzles. A-E-I-O-U. I give up. Which one? I only give up because, like, my brain, it's been a long day. I do not have the computing capacity to actually, if I had a pen and paper, but this would not be the right time to figure it out anyway. I probably could, but yeah, you're just going to have to tell me. My father had a Gremlin back in the day with a 304. After the car did its third 360-degree spin in the snow and ice, he got rid of it. Yeah, the Gremlin would not have been a good snow and ice car. No. Such a short wheelbase, bags of power. No, not going to work well for that application. Can't really rag on the car for that, though. David Torrey, Alpine, I don't know. My knees would be round my ears. They're a little cramped, yes. But, with the modifications I've done, I've kind of sat on a propped up seat in there, and I've gained a little bit of extra room to be able to put the seat further back. Just a couple of inches, but a couple of inches makes all the difference, she said. Lane Conley, Sequoia. There you go. A-E-I-O-U. Yeah, very good. File that under the other little useless bits of information file in my brain. But yeah, that's fun. Peugeot didn't own AMC, Renault did. Okay. Says Mr. Freeman. It would seem like we got 2 votes for Renault and 1 for Peugeot. So Barracuda, here we go. The 402-barrel Chev engine that I had in my Monaro was a 1970 version, rated at 265 horsepower. Not huge, but 400 foot-pounds of torque made up for that. Yes, torquey motors, not big horsepower. I promise I wasn't ragging on it, but it's just not. I just don't think it's their best work. I don't think it's the best small block they ever made. It could be made into a something serious, but 265 horses. There's a lot of V6s around making that much horsepower. Torque is really the key thing on that one, but yeah. If it could have just had another 100 horsepower and that 400 foot-pounds of torque, then it would have been like, ooh, that's kind of cool. But yeah. Driveway of Misfits. Surprised it wasn't a Pacer. I think it has a square wheelbase and track width. I know that's not true, but I'll bet it's close. Yeah, they were short, stubby little cars for sure. Buddy Caro, Pacer passenger door longer than the driver's door. Yeah, that was to make rear seat access easier. Again, that's almost typical of AMC to do wacky stuff like that. That was just different from what everyone else was doing. Really, I'm not quite sure why they didn't just make both sides longer. But it really didn't make the car any harder to make or more expensive to produce. But I'm just not quite sure why they had a short door for the driver's side and a long one for the passenger side. That I would have just thought they'd have made them both long as opposed to both short. It was a good idea for rear seat access, but often people would get in through the driver's side as well. So I don't know, that didn't always make a lot of sense, but maybe that's why the car wasn't exactly a huge hit with the buying public. Mexican spec, yeah. V8 Gremlin in the snow. That was crazy. Yeah. Oh, indeed. Mopar Man, Chris Freeman says, if money permits down the road, I want to build a modified Gremlin with a Jeep XJ engine and have the scenes of the Gremlin from Twilight Zone, the movie, airbrushed on the body panels. Oh my God. You've spent altogether too much time thinking about that, mate. That has taken up a couple of hours of your time, hasn't it? You've thought that one through. That's funny. Jeff Hutchins, Renault, Peugeot, same thing. Yeah, tell it to the Renault and Peugeot owners, mate. Josh Homan, a car that small doesn't need a V8. Oh, Josh, I don't know about that. I don't know. Small cars with V8s are pretty fun. The short wheelbase does make them hard work, though. That you know, I've got to give you that. But the need is I would say a car that small doesn't have to have a V8. That would be how I'd phrase that sentence. But I hear what you're saying. Buddy Caro, hey, Mexican Spec, did you figure out the leak in the car? Okay. Hey, Mexican Spec, have you heard from Tavo, or is anyone else on here that's here now? That we did ask the question very early in the stream that when no one's heard from Tavo, and I emailed him and not had a response. So I hope the old dude's okay. So please chip in, and if anyone's seen him pop up anywhere, just let us know. David Tyree, every car needs a V8 at least. Yes, well, that's a statement I can get on board with. Picus Burton, Picus Burton. Love a V8, but I'm more of a V6 guy, especially the Buick V6 engines. Never laid hands or worked on a Buick V. You know that like the Buick Turbo V6. I assume you're talking about. Yeah, I've never worked on one of them ever. So, but from all accounts, they were pretty cool, pretty good engine. They can make a lot of horsepower. Jeff Hutchins, I've frequently wondered why people don't constantly swap 4-litre high outputs into AMC cars. Be a good swap, makes sense. Mexican Speak, not yet. I have to get it up on the jack and record it from underneath. I hope my jack still works. Johnny Bravo, got a small block Chev 400 short block, 10 accord to 1, roller cam rockers in my garage, just waiting. Had a rear main leak, could not figure out till I realized it was a line board and needed a different seal. I mean, yeah, with the right tweaks, the 400 small block's great engine, but just, you know, my reservation is like as an engine that's stock out of the box, it just wasn't their best ever. Had it in my 71 Camaro and it was a beast except for the oil leaking massively. Yeah, that sucks. Lineworks, always loved cars but not very knowledgeable. Hearing you all talk about all these old cars sounds like a different language. Oh yes, our heads are full with too much old car junk. Yeah, just when you think you've heard it all, trust me, you haven't. If nothing else, these live streams have taught me that. Mexican Spec, Lineworks, now is the time to learn. Exactly. And he is on a Sunbeam Alpine. So, yeah, Lineworks, if you ever stuck or, you know, yeah, don't be afraid to give me a call. My number, just Google Kiwi Classics and Customs. My number's there. Call up, email, whatever. And yeah, I would be interested to see pictures of it, see what you're doing with it, that kind of thing. So yeah, and I've got a spare 67 car sitting in the corner, as a donor for whatever I might need. And if there's something on it that you need, well, yeah, that I don't, let's talk. It's pretty sure it's a complete car. Todd Deny, Gremlin. Oh, you went up the page. Damn. Wow. There we go. Josh Homan. Okay, let's talk about politics now. Okay. Where's my moderator? Ban that man. Oh, no. Let's talk about anything. Let's talk about paint drying. That'll be more entertaining than politics. Gremlin with the factory 304 was cool because an AMC 401 would drop right in. That would make it get up and go, wouldn't it? Good Lord. Jeff Hutchins, Lineworks. Stick around. You'll be just as weird as us in no time. Yeah, it rubs off. It really does. Andy Nickel. And here I thought it was a guitar channel. Yeah. Hey, I'll come back to it. I want to try and catch up with the comments, but I found something out about guitars and musical instruments that I want to share with Barracuda, actually. But let me just try and catch up a little. Mopar Man, I would also like to build a Mirthmobile from Wayne's World. There you go. Andy Nickel, all thumbs tonight. Oops. Politics. Jacinda is selling her house in Auckland. That's not politics anymore. She's not really even in politics anymore, is she? So that doesn't count. Jeff Hutchins, the diesel in the Cherokee was the same one in those little Winnebago Lacharo pointy nose motorhomes. Well, that would have been, it was underwhelming in the little Cherokee. What the heck was it? How did it even get up a hill in a motorhome? Good grief. That's what a terrible choice. Steve Sadusky, is tonight's subject about cars on this live car group? Yeah, it is, mate. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Braden LaForce, greetings, Kiwi. Kiwi, Brad from Down East, Maine. Oh, so it's Brad, not Braden. Okay. So Kiwi in Down East, Maine. Very cool. Welcome along, man. Jeff Hutchins, yep, all these cute utes are just AMC Eagles. Yeah. Some truth to that, man. Barracuda, I'm a fan of the Buick V6 engine too. I've got the last version of it in my Holden Commodore. It's a quick car. Yeah, it was good engine. Did a lot of miles. I can only imagine how many millions and millions of miles those engines have done. They made a lot of them. Chris Freeman said, where's Dean? I finally got the magneto replaced in my de-English translator and wanted to test it out tonight. My de-English translator. Oh, de-English. God, you got me. You got me again. Overbuilt Automotive. Welcome along. Howdy from Tennessee. I seen you on live, so I figured I'd say hi. Good on you, man. Good on you. Welcome along. Feel free to chip in and ask a question, tell us your story, whatever you want. David Torrey, Josh Homan, you're not wrong. Last I heard, she was living in Oz, poor bastards. Oh, dear. Mopar Man. Jeep 4-litre engine bolts right into a Pacer or a Gremlin with little effort. Nice. Johnny Bravo got Commodore black leather bucket power seats in my 71 Camaro. That installation was quite the project. I'll bet it was. But it'd be cool. Barracuda, I missed that. What was the question about the Hemi 6? I think the 4-litre Jeep motor shares some of the architecture with the Hemi 6. I was told at some point they're meant to be quite similar. Not too sure, to be honest. I'm not a Jeep guy, so. Chris, the Jeep 4-litre is closely related to the AMC 232 258 inline 6. Okay. Jeff Hutchins, I have the factory AMC 225 V6 in my 69 CJ5. AMC got the tooling from GM. Later, GM bought it back. Huh. So much incestuousness going on. Mexican speak. There is an AMC Eagle here I might publish. I am... What did it say? I'm not sure about the paperwork, though. Oh, okay. Overbuilt automotive. My dad loves the Sunbeam Alpine. I should try to get one for him. There's quite a few around when you go looking. There's quite a few around. Surprising. And all states of repair, from really nice ones to really bad ones. Ask me how I know. Lane Beagle Bob, Lane Connolly. I guess it was a situation where Y is only sometimes a vowel. Oh dear. What language are you speaking, Bob? Jeff Hutchins, the AMC 232, 258 and Jeep 4-litre aren't just related. Their architecture is the same. Parts swap around, no problem. Interesting. Todd Denier, not true. Those Jeep V6s were built by Buick. Yeah, I think Jeff's talking about the straight six, though, Todd. Also, a 69 Jeep was still owned by Kaiser. AMC bought Jeep in 1970. Ooh, the historians are duking it out. To convert those Jeep 4-litres to carburetor, you use a Motorcraft 2-barrel carb or older Mopar 383 big block 2-barrel carb, and then use the HEI Chevy or 70s Jeep distributor. Wow. Okay. A Ford carburetor on a Jeep 6-cylinder. Nice. That'll make a few of them twitch, won't it? Brad Eastman, I drove the Cobra off a transporter and backed it into a container to go back to the USA after being built up as a race car in New Zealand. Oh, wow. How very cool. D-Rick Deberjack, welcome along, bud. Good to see you here. I haven't seen you in a little bit, I don't think. The long door was so the post office could get in and out easier with their satchel. Really? Wow. Did not know that. Chris Freeman, the long one on the passenger side was for loading people at the curb. That's what I thought. I hadn't heard about the post office story. D-Rick Deberjack, they made it right-hand drive for the post office. That I believe. They made a Pacer right-hand drive? I didn't know that. Johnny Bravo, where's Kevin tonight? I see you have one of his T-shirts on. Kevin's probably at home in bed, mate. Yeah, I have got his T-shirt on. Baked-chucation. I thought you were talking about Kiwi Kev for a moment there, and then I realised what you were saying. Yeah, he's home in bed. We have been talking about getting him along again one night, though. So that's probably going to happen before long. He's got a little bit of surgery coming up, nothing major, but it's going to kind of keep him out of action, or at least working on cars for a month. So he's just got no lifting heavy weights and that kind of thing. But yeah, nothing sinister. So don't worry. Just old age. Buddy car, I thought passenger door longer, so back seat person could exit curbside easier. That's what I've always understood. Yeah. Mopar, man, it would be different and people at car shows would like it. I even found a company online that makes the life-size figure of that gremlin off the movie. Oh, good Lord. That would be fun, especially around Halloween. Barracuda, when I bought the Monaro, the first time I let out the clutch, I thought I'd better be careful with this. It felt immensely powerful. Oh, I'm sure it did. Well, torque is what it's all about, man. I mean, horsepower is just torque times RPM times 3 point, or whatever it is. Torque is what breaks the tyres loose. So, yeah. No, that would have been a fun. Yeah, Monaro with 400 cubic inches. Good combination. Good combination because it's a mid-sized car. It's not technically not a big car. Kind of is in New Zealand, but not in America. That's not even a big mid-size. Mexican spec, I've not heard from him from the email I sent. I don't have Tavo's phone number. I would call him. No, I don't have it either. But no, I emailed him and he hasn't answered. It's a little concerning. I'm going to dig a little deeper back into my email because he's emailed me a few times, sending me links to this and that. A little more pertinent to the whole Aussie Kiwi thing. So I need to go back on those and see if I can find any further info where I might be able to contact him. But hoping it's not bad. Steve Sadusky, I once had an AMC Hornet 6-cylinder. I liked the car style, but had a lot of problems with the engine, so I got rid of it. Okay. It seemed to run and drive good one day, and then the next day it would be on the fritz. Okay. Jeff Hutchins, Buick 350s in the 70s, probably brought them from GM. The Buick 350 was not a stellar motor. I mean, it went. It didn't fail, but it was just like underwhelming. Paul Faint, no talk of politics or seafood. There you go. Shut up the page. Wow, way behind again. Barracuda, 67, 327 two-barrel engine, 210 horsepower, 325 foot-pounds of torque. Yeah. Yep. But an engine that loved to rev. It didn't make as much as the 400. You're right. It didn't. But it didn't take a lot of fettling to get it up there, though, at all. David Tyree, come on, crayfish is great. Not a big crayfish fan. Crab, I quite like crab. Crayfish, yeah. Mopar, man, I haven't forgotten about my 65 Dart project. As soon as I get paid from my attorney, I'll be buying a 440 for the Dart. Nice. I have a guy building a 727 for it, then buy Cope Racing full manual valve body. Serious. Lineworks, I will certainly take you up on that offer. Appreciate you finishing up the teardown this week and really getting into it to figure out what needs to be done. Okay, cool. Let's talk. David Tyree, we're not weird, we're unique. That's it. Chris Free, oh, here we go. Chris Freemasson, politics, Latin derivation from the word poly, meaning many, and ticks being blood-sucking creatures. Yes, that's good. I like it. It's very accurate. Very cute. I have a good pate recipe. I do not like pate. Ugh. Terrible. I do not like pate at all. Buddy Caro, what brand of car wax do you recommend? Mate, I don't know. I haven't. It's been forever since I waxed a car. I usually just use detail spray. But waxing it? No, I don't know. I don't have a good one. I don't have a recommendation. I'm sorry. Johnny Bravo, by the way, good evening from Huntsville, Alabama. Not too far from you. No, you're not. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Chris Freemess, I switched to Turtle Wax ceramic spray. Works great and is way easier to apply than regular wax. Ceramic spray. Interesting. Dr. Arts is in the house. Welcome along, sir. Not sure how long you've been in because I'm a bit behind. But hey, I keep thinking I've almost caught up and then a whole lot of comments drop. But yeah, good to have you here, mate. David Torrey, we could also always talk about winning. I know who you mean, mate. I know who you mean. Todd Denio, Kaiser had his hand in a bit of everything, including making Liberty ships in World War II. He proved concrete ships could float. There you go. Excuse me. Barry Coot, I heard recently that Buick are bringing back a V6 engine, hopefully the 3.8. I would doubt it, mate. I mean, yeah, it just wouldn't. Yeah, I don't think it would meet today's strict EPA standards anymore. The 3.8. That's a fairly old engine, and yeah, it might be a much modernised version of it, but time will tell, I guess. Lane Conley, the Pacer was designed around the Wankel engine. The Straight Six was adapted after the Wankel was abandoned. I like the Pacer wagons. Yeah, I've heard that the rotisserie engine was slated for the Pacer. Don't know about that though. I think it was probably a good idea that they pulled it. The little rotary engines probably would have gone all right in the Pacer. It was small enough and light enough. But it wasn't really a performance vehicle, was it? I don't think it was aimed at the performance market. Like the best car they put a rotary in was the RX-7, and the RX-8, stuff like that. But little lightweight Japanese sports car, and the rotary engines went perfectly in it. Ace TTTT. I can't find my other sock. Well, that's a problem. In the meantime, welcome along. Good to have you here. Chris Freemess, a friend sent me a pic 2 days ago of a place he passes on his way to work. Pacer wagon and a Dodge Omni parked out the front. Oh, wow. Ace TT, can't find my other sock. Still can't find it. Okay, that's the problem. David Torrey, look on your other foot. Oh, shit. Okay, who's Ace TTT? I need to find it. I've only got one high heel on. Oh, goodness me. Well, that could be a change of subject and direction, couldn't it? I'm waiting for the punchline on this. What's coming next from Ace TTT? TTTL, actually, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's all T's, 4 T's. Jeez, my eyes. Yeah, Jeff Hutchins, Jeep had no brand racism. They used Ford, Chrysler, GM, probably international parts. They didn't care. Yep, that sounds about right. Derek Deberjet. I think it was the Ambassador, but it wasn't in the Pacer. Okay. Johnny Bravo, yeah, I know about the surgery. He'll need help lifting things for a while. I'll be glad to run up there and help him if he needs. yeah, reach out to him, man. You never know. You never know. And in a few more months, when you're ready to come and sand on an alpine, sing out. It's amazing how many people are busy when it comes to sanding time. A couple of months might be optimistic, but hey, you live in hope, don't you? Overbuilt automotive. So let's see if we get that right. China got a China carb China. Yeah, all right. 86 FJ Land Cruiser. Got that bit. Ford, yeah, okay. Ford carburetor 2300 style on the 86 Land. That would work. G-Rec Deeberjack, 67 and 8 were the years for the post office ambassador. Actually, that makes sense because they also exported ambassadors and Rambler Rebels to New Zealand in right-hand drive, brand new. So that they were done in the factory, not aftermarket conversions. So Johnny Bravo, I'd be tickled crapless to help him on the G28. Crapless. Been a second-gen guy for over 50 years and counting. Well, there you go. Mention it in his comments, man. You just never know. I mean, I can't speak for Kevin. He could well take you up on that. Yeah. Barracuda. I think Arden is worming her way into Australian politics. Oh, that will suit her until Pauline Hanson takes over. Oh, good Lord. Oh, I know all those names still. Oh, I just saw it. What was that? No flies in the room. Welcome along, sir. Wow, I'm way behind. There we go. Mexican speak. I sent Tavo a package a while back. I might have his phone number. Okay. Yeah, but it's a little worrying. I'd like to get to the bottom of that. Steve Sadusky, when you coordinate Kevin T coming back on the live, can you send a shout out? I have a couple of questions to ask him about my Monte Carlo ESS. Sure, man. I'll definitely. It won't just be a surprise. Like 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. Oh, by the way, Kevin's coming. Like if I can get him to come on, we'll talk about it several weeks ahead of time. So you won't be surprised. But he's all about technical questions. The guy is a teacher. He's a born teacher, and he's full of information. Which reminds me, I've got to talk to Barracuda about lack of paint, which I did quiz him on Barracuda's behalf. Lane Conley, technical question: what is the best electrical fuel pump to use to replace a mechanical fuel pump in a carbureted car, assuming use of a fuel pressure regulator on a return line to the tank? The best one. Well, you've got some options. Carter make good fuel pumps, electric fuel pumps. Holly, I wouldn't use like the old school Holly red or blue pump. Pretty good pumps, but noisy as all get out. They're just way too noisy. But Holly make one that's a Holly black, and it's a black fuel pump, and it's a different design. It looks kind of similar to the blue and red, but it's a vane It's a vane, not a vane style, sorry. It's not sure what the term is, but inside it is like an oil pump. So it's a rotary pump, I guess you'd call it. And, lots of volume, adjust, the pressure is not too high. You still need a regulator really, but, it's not wildly high, but lots of volume and quiet, but pricey. If you want something a bit more affordable, something just like, a basic Carter electric fuel pumps are always been good. That's what I'd go for. Unless you got some high performance, you really only need that Holly Black if you're like making tons of horsepower and you need lots of fuel. But if you're under 300 horsepower, a Carter electric fuel pump is gonna get it done easy. Mopo man, just had my second outpatient surgery 6 o'clock this morning, work comp related besides the outpatient hernia surgery a couple of weeks ago. No lifting for a few more weeks as well. Then I'll be back and better. There you go. That's Kevin's problem. Todd Denai, I always have been a bit partial to AMC even before getting the Marlin. There you go. GMAC, welcome along. Hello, enjoy your show. What would cause a 70 Dodge Dart swing a 340 Scat Pack when you start it? No blue smoke. When it gets warm, hot, it puffs out a steady stream of blue smoke on the driver's side. Yeah, well, blue smoke's oil burning. Sounds like rings. Sounds like rings, man. When it warms up, Dodge Dart 340. DDG might be your best guy to ask about that. Hop on his live. He knows more about those 340s than I ever will. Or even Uncle Tony, UTG. Those two just live and breathe Mopar and small block Mopars and stuff like that. But from a generic point of view, I would say probably rings on that bank. Why it doesn't smoke when it's cold, not quite sure. That confuses me a little. But maybe the oil just hasn't got around, enough at that point. Once it's warmed up, the oil's well moving well, and it's making it smoke. That would be my theory. Mexican Spec Mopar man, I have 2 hernias, never took care of. Mrs. Spec does all the heavy lifting. There you go. What a woman. She puts up with you, Mexican, and lifts all the heavy stuff. Good lady. And she navigates for you all over the place. So, yeah, she's a keeper, man. She's a keeper. Very cool. That Monaro had a good shifter in it. Mr. Gasket inline short throw. Nice. Yep. Overbuilt automotive. Kiwi, as long as you do not catch your crabs at the no-tell motel. Ooh, no, definitely not. No. GMAC, we had to pass on the Dart because of the smoke, and it ran extremely hot, 3/4. Okay, all right. Yeah, probably wise. Beagle Bob, I use turtle wax in the green tub. That's good old-fashioned brew, isn't it? Been around forever. Now, Vilefly clings to Euro sandwich. Always looks like it says gyro, but it's Euro, isn't it? Mexican Spec, I want so bad to wax my cars. By the time I wash them, I'm so tired I can't do any more. The next day they're dirty again. Ain't that the truth, bro? Ain't that the truth? G-Mac, old Ford truck with a 306 cylinder. Well, that's never going to let you down, is it? That's just going to go and go and go. Mexican speak. Hey, Volfly, the pork chops were really good and much softer than without the brine. Thank you for the recipe. Interesting. So you soak them in brine, pork chops. Okay. Not familiar with that one. Volfly, you'll never go back to unbrined. You'll have to tell me about that. I quite like pork chops. David Torrey, I might have been talking about Winston Churchill. You might have been. I suspect you weren't, but you might have been. You're quite right. Goodness. Mopar man, Mexican spec. You should get those fixed. I have a mess now and I can't live for 4 weeks minimum. First week of July, I'll be free from that restriction. Then have to deal with these new restrictions. Yeah, sucks, doesn't it? Mexican spec. Dr. Spec gave Dr. Spec, that must be the father-in-law or something, is it? Came to visit me. Doctor, oh, that's your son. Sorry, your son's a doctor, isn't he? Or trainee doctor. I can't remember whether is he done his time yet or is he still studying? Came to visit me for Father's Day and took me out to dinner. I was shocked. Oh, well, that's cool. That's nice though, man. That's very cool. I got a phone call about, I think it was about 6 or 7 o'clock on the evening of Father's Day from my boy. He was up to his neck in studying, and apparently, and so you got taken out to dinner. So don't knock that, man. Johnny Bravo, use Kiwi's recipe for seasoning, sear on a hot coals, 2 to 3 minutes per side. Wrap in pink butcher's paper. Put on a lower heat for half an hour. Stupid tender. Interesting. Use Kiwi's recipe. Which Kiwi? Johnny Bravo. You confused me there, sunshine. No, man. Mexican spec, sorry. I've been like this coming up 20 years. I'm sure they fixed themselves by now. Well, if they ain't hurting, I guess it's not a problem. Mesh, I mean, right. Jeff Hutchins, slant slicks, shares rod journals, Jeeps, AMC are 7 mains. Oh, it's a lot of Jeep information. They're me. Oh, yeah, switching cranks around. Wow, that's 4.7 litre stroker. That's a big 6. That's a big 6. Getting dangerously low on bourbon. Right. Barry Curt, I've got a good recommendation for polishing compound, 3M Perfect It. I have bottles of it in my paint cabinet at work. It is very, very good. 3-stage system, awesome stuff. Now, Barry Curt, you were talking about lacquer paint and you were surprised that you couldn't buy lacquer paint over here. And as I suspected, it's the high VOCs with lacquer paint. It's not so much... like the 2-pack stuff has got some very carcinogenic type products in them, and you do have to be, have a good respirator, otherwise the shit will kill you. But the reason they've not here, why they've knocked the lacquer stuff on the head is the very, very high VOCs. And Kevin was saying that lacquer paint typically has around 11 to 14% solids in it, and the rest is reduce it basically, which all evaporates off into the atmosphere. So that's why the EPA doesn't like it. The 2-pack stuff has around 40% solids, and it doesn't rely on evaporation to dry. It relies on a chemical reaction, not in a way similar to the way Bondo. Bondo does. You don't put Bondo on and just wait for it to dry. It has a chemical reaction. The hardener and your filler has a chemical reaction, generates some heat, goes hard. So the 2-pack paints are kind of like that. So they don't need the level, they don't evaporate all their, product off, or not, they evaporate 60% of it off, but not like close to 90%. So that's why the EPA knocked it on the head and said no more. So there you go. Straight from the mouth of Mr. Kevin Tates of Paint Education fame and fortune. So there you go. Hopefully that answers your question, Barracuda. Mexican speak. Mine are not protruding. We're getting into some medical shit now. Don't know that I need to know what's protruding below your waistline, Mexican speak, but hey, it's all good. It's a family show. Oh dear. Didn't really. We were doing so well on cars too, and now we're talking about hernias. You just never know on this show. You really never, ever know. Jeff Hutchins. Todd and I've been spelling Kaiser wrong half of the time, and I don't know Peugeot from Renault. So there you go. Volflo, wife and I went out for Euros. Nice. It's good food, man. It's good food. Free messer. Ew, TMI. Yeah, well, yeah. We said they're not bulging, so, you know. Mexican speak. I like the 282 4.6 litre in my Spirit. It was a Mexico only. Oh, really? Mexico only? Huh. Worthyland 4104. That's a new name. Welcome along, brother. Good to have you here. Hey, Kiwi, fellow New Zealander here. Any time insight on finding 54 country sedan window rubbers? Ooh, for restoration, mate. No, no. Google. Google's your friend, man. Google's your friend. There's the mainstream, rubber producers. There's probably 3 or 4 sort of heavy hitters in the reproduction rubber. And yeah, a quick Google will bring you those up. But yeah, that might be difficult for a country sedan. I mean, the windshield shouldn't be too hard. But window rubbers on a wagon, and back doors maybe. Front doors shouldn't be too big a deal. Back doors maybe. Tailgate, yeah, good luck. That's going to be like finding tailgate rubbers for Marge, large Marge, my 59 Plymouth wagon. Yeah, good luck with that. They have, however, just come out with a windshield rubber for the 5789. Just as an aside, not going to help you at all, Worthyland. But yeah, the windshield rubbers for the 5789 Mopars, $382, I think it was, for a windshield rubber. Not the glass, just the rubber. And the last Mustang windshield rubber I bought, I think, was $28. Bit of a difference. That's well over 10 times the price. It's like, ouch. What you going to do? I've got an absolutely shot one in Marge. I've got a better one that I got out of another car. But it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. So, yeah, I might have to bite the bullet and drop my $400 odd on a windshield rubber. That's a lot of coin for a rubber. How many are they going to sell, though, I guess, But unfortunately, Worthyland, yeah, Google. Just keep Googling. And, yeah, who knows what you'll find. Yeah, there's like the steel rubbers. There's a couple of others, which names escape me, but, they make what sells, and they probably not a lot of demand for a 54 wagon. Mexican speak. I did not get graphic. I can though. Oh, okay. Cars, gentlemen, cars. We're talking about cars. Yeah, honestly, the only one that springs to mind is steel rubber, but I know there's a couple of others that do a lot of rubber manufacturing. Um, yeah. If you find something here and need, and can't get it shipped, you can send it to me and I could forward it on to you. I do that quite often for people because a lot of sellers here in the States don't like to ship overseas. So you need a contact here for them to ship it to, and then your contact here stateside can then ship it on to New Zealand. It's not that hard. You got to fill a little wee form out. I mean, a little form, not a big A4 size. Just a little form, but it spooks some sellers. So yeah, don't mind helping out another Kiwi doing that sort of thing. Mexican spec, Chris Freeman. So when I was taking model cars to the car shows here to sell, I had my wife and my 15-year-old niece lifting all of the boxes. It worked out well. Taking model cars to car shows here to sell. What sort of model cars? Mexican spec. I have a couple of my own. Tell me about that. Mexican spec. I'm not sexist. Women can work just like men. This is true. Worthyland, please see my query. Well, I hope I've answered it now for you, mate, about the rubbers. So I'm just a little bit behind, but so hopefully, I don't know whether that helps or not, mate. But, Johnny Bravo, women look better working at it too. That's true. Barracuda Kiwi, did you know that there is a Chinese-made Muncie 4-speed available? I did not. Oh, good grief, really? That's an odd transmission to reproduce a 4-speed. Yeah. Interesting. I guess someone figures there's a market for it. Mind you, if Muncie was still selling them, they probably have them made in China, so what's the difference, really? Yeah, hang on a minute here. Overbuilt Automotive. There is one USA rubber company, they say on the web and video, they will make stuff if they haven't got a compatible mold and like get a sample of anything old they haven't got. Do you not remember the name? Oh, bugger. I'd be even interested in that. Worthyland, front quarters and screens available, but no rear quarter rubbers. Anyone find some even used a fair amount of New Zealand dollars can be yours. I'll certainly keep an eye out for it, mate. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you've pretty much, I said that earlier, didn't I? That front quarters and screens would be, front windows and screens would be available, but it's the rear ones that's gonna trip you up. But I wonder, Overbuilt Automotive, I wonder who that is. Because that would be handy for large Marge too, because there's some rubbers you cannot buy for that, like around the back side windows on Marge, which are shot because it spent so much time in the desert. The rubbers are just toasted. But that's a weird shaped rubber. And I don't know how best to explain it, but it's a rubber that you need to have the right one to make the window look like it's fitting, like it's not. They're not like, it's not one of those rubbers that you can just cut it off a roll and like some windshield rubbers with the little locking strip, just go in a hole. This is a rubber that basically fills a gap. It holds the window in, and it fills a gap between the glass and the top of the rear quarter. So it's a very. I haven't had it out yet, but it's going to be. It's easy to see that it's going to be a very specific shaped rubber, and I would love to know who that company is because Marge needs those rubbers badly, and the ones around the tailgate. But those back quarter windows are quite vital, for waterproofing and sound. Yeah, if you can remember that overbuilt, let me know, man. I would be very interested to know that. Oh, Dean Stevenson's here. Hello, mate. How you doing? Chris Freemasson, the translator isn't working right. I think the condensers are out of alignment or something. Goodness me. Danny Boyd's here too. Welcome along, man. Well, I've been missing out on a bit. I'm just trying to scroll up and see what's going on. Bill Bob, I was able to use JB Weld to seal 4 holes that had rusted into my lawnmower wheel. I tore my valve stem with a wire wheel, cleaning the rust and paint off to seal it up, though. One problem at a time. Oh, that sucks. Mexican speak. Once he gets his degree, he can tend to the wounds of the cartel members out on his front lawn. Oh, Chris, that's shocking. Here we go. Mexican spec. Kiwi, my son will be 21 in 3 months tomorrow. He finished his third year and got all A's on his finals. He is in the top 20 people in the school. Wow, he's 21 in his third year of medical school? That's incredibly young. My boy's 28 and he's in his second year. Wow, 20. Wow, that's so young. Wow. He got straight hot out of college. Wow, that's awesome. He is going to be a young doctor. Good for him, man. That's amazing. Right, where are we up to here? Wow, we're running out of time here. Danny Boyd, I've owned at least 4 Mercuries in the past. There you go. GMAC, there is an old man near me. His name is Chuck Smith Classic Cars. Heck, he has a lot of Hemis, even a Superbird. Check him out. Chuck Smith Classic Cars. Don't see that many Superbirds for sale. Don't see that many Superbirds, full stop, really. Jeff Hutchins, Mexican specker, one overachiever son like that, and the other one who is a lazy shit, mummy protective. One of them, guess which one? Yeah. Andy Nickel, I think I might have skipped past one of Barry Cooter's questions or answers. But Andy Nickel, yes, you can buy nitro cellulose lacquer. Buy it from Cardinal. Yes, apparently Kevin Tates was telling me that lacquer on a musical instrument like guitars gives a better sound than the 2-pack paints, the 2K paints, which quite surprised me because it's quite hard. The lacquer's quite hard, so it doesn't dull the sound down like the soft paints, which the 2-packs are. Base coat, clear coats are relatively soft. Compared to a good dry lacquer, they have a better sound, which you probably knew that anyway, Andy, right? But that surprised me. I wasn't aware of that. I never really thought about the color or the coating on a musical instrument making a difference. Apparently it does. I think they're talking more high-end instruments, but you could probably confirm or deny that. Mexican spec, he's just saying Jeff Hutchins, he's getting all A's because he lives in a dangerous town and all he does is study. It works out. It keeps himself to himself. Not a bad thing. Man, that's just awesome to be 21 in his third year. I'm staggered by that. That's well done. Yeah, well done. Yeah, my son's kind of upset because he's going to be 30, by the time he's getting out. Out sounds like he's getting out of jail, but out of medical school and like becoming an actual doctor. So yeah, it did take him a while to get accepted into a medical college up here, though. It took him. He had a couple of years off, and then he decided to start looking around. And I think that 2 years off kind of put some of the medical colleges off. We told him not to do it, but he wanted, he insisted, and he was 21. I think he was, 20 at that 21, and they're an adult, Mopar Man, Mexican spec, a little doctor humor. I recorded Dan Aykroyd on that movie repeating doctor on my phone and played it walking down the main hallway of the hospital that all the doctors and nurses use. Oh, that's funny. That's a little shit stir, isn't it? Barracuda, I figured out my GM 3.8 V6 and the old measurements. It's 235 to 255 horsepower and 225 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty impressive, isn't it, really? Pretty impressive. Danny Boyd, trimmed the hedges here, just finished today. Took 3 days, and today was the first day I didn't cut and have to splice my extension cord. Hands up who hasn't cut their extension cord with their hedge trimmer. Yeah, I most definitely. It's a good little spark, doesn't it? But it's pretty quick and brief, so it's fast, which is the good aspect of it. Mexican spec, I hope to get a discount. Mexican spec, he has 10 years left. Why has he got 10 years left? Is he going into a specialty? What's he going to do, Mexican spec? Worthyland, bugger, mate, always comes back with similar results. Rear quarter window sliding. Shit. They're impossible to find, mate. I don't fancy your chances. That's going to be tough. We need to find out where that place is that makes rubbers, because I'm kind of in a similar situation on Large March, my Plymouth wagon. I might do a bit of Googling on that and see if I can find some. Who makes custom automotive rubber seals, mate, and don't know what'll pop up. Chris Freemesser, I usually use pinking shears. I know what pinking shears are. Yeah, good luck cutting a hedge with that. I haven't heard of pinking shears for many decades. Or at least what I understand, my version of a pinking shear is that for like cutting material, cutting dress patterns out and stuff like that. That's what I know of pinking shears being for, like a tailoring. Dean Stevenson, you said you had a Brazilian. You're trimming what? Mexican spec, can you adapt rubber from another car or buy its bulk and make it fit? Yeah. Danny Boyd, you guys are crazy. Yeah, on that. There you go. Mexican spec. Kiwi companies don't want to send internationally because if a package gets lost, they have to refund it. It's a big risk for them. Okay, didn't think of it from that point of view. That makes perfect sense. Okay, fair enough. Mexican spec was selling at car shows 10 to 15 years ago. I sell full size. Yeah, I know you sell full size cars now. Yeah. Barracuda back in the 80s. Oh shit! Hit the button one too many times. God dang it! Where did you go, Barracuda? Dean Stevenson, gluten-free toilet paper. What are you talking about? Lord. Wow, you guys are crazy. Chris Freeman said, how do you say Doogie Howser in Spanish? Oh, okay. You're talking about Mexican specs, boy. I get you. It took a moment. I'm slowing down, I'm telling you. Here we go. Barracuda. Back in the 80s, I sprayed a lot of nitrocellulose lacquer on MDF shop fittings and signboards. It was called Juco. The acrylic lacquer I put on cars was Dulon. I remember Dulon and Dulux paints taken over by PPG. Yeah. There's one company, there's Duplicolor here, still sell nitrocellulose lacquer in thinned down like quart cans. And apparently it's not very good. Kevin was saying that, like they sell it out of like AutoZone and O'Reilly's and places like that. It's made by Duplicolor that do a lot of spray can paints, but they also do quart cans of this lacquer, say pre-diluted, thinned down, whatever you want to call it, like ready to put it in the gun and spray it. And it's like $25 a quart or a litre, $25 a litre. So it's pretty cheap, but apparently it's pretty crappy. And that's, the main, the specialty places like the PPG places, the automotive paint shops do not sell it that I've been able to find. Yeah. Mexican spec, they do not make people do years of college before the medical program here. Okay, that's interesting. Huh. I have to talk to my boy about that, see if he's heard about that. All right. Well, we're 10 minutes over almost. So I just have not been able to keep up with you guys tonight. Let's call time and say, hey, it was a good night and hope you guys enjoyed yourself. If I've missed comments and haven't responded, I just couldn't keep up, guys. You're powering along. I'm just going to have to start learning to skip more and just try and catch the important, catch what seems a little more relevant, maybe. Which is that's hard to do because I don't want to just skip over you guys and just like ignore you. Volfly, batten down the hatches. They've come loose again. You guys crack me up. Mexican spec. That's what he told me. Kiwi has 10 years left. He is going to be an internist because the schooling is free, he has to work at the government hospitals for a while. Oh, okay. Interesting. Huh. That's not a bad way. I mean, my boy is going to have, he doesn't have to work at a government hospital when he's out, but he's going to have a load of debt because I can't pay for all his medical school. That's a lot of money, and he's going to have some fairly serious loans hanging over him. But he'll also be making some fairly serious money. So if he's clever with it, he can get that paid off pretty darn quick. What happens to a lot of doctors here, from what he's been telling me, is they drag out, they pay the minimum, and they just pay for the rest of their lives. And they never get that millstone from around their neck. They're always under this debt. But if you actually get your head down and don't go crazy once you kind of let off the leash, as it were, of all the schooling and the fees, and spend everything that comes in on new cars and toys and stuff, then you can actually get it paid off pretty darn quick. Andy Nicol, I've used many finishes and the lacquer myth about better sound doesn't hold from my experience. Interesting. The main thing that will dull the sound is the thickness of the finish. My favorite is polyester UV cure. Interesting. I'll have to talk to Kevin about that, because he's a muso as well. Kevin Tate's one of his many talents is the guy can sing, and he's a great guitarist. And so he's a muso. He was in a heavy metal band when he was young. And I don't mean some little garage band. He was actually they were making a living at it. Not enough that he kept at it, but they didn't hit the big time, but they were around. Not everybody knows that about Kevin. It's funny seeing Kevin with masses of long, huge hair, and all the glittery makeup and that funky kind of. It wasn't really a heavy metal. It was more of that. Yeah, I think. It was a little bit of heavy metal. Quite know what the right title is, but yeah, he. Just so different it seems so different to the guy he is today, when you see pictures of him. It's quite funny, quite amusing. Anyway, time's ticking by. We'll just keep talking all night. So I'm going to have to go because I've got to get some beauty sleep. Good night. God knows I need it. Tanny Boyd will never touch mountain oysters. Good for you, man. I think that's a wise choice. 80s hair metal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Big, long, yeah, crazy. And if you kind of tunnel vision and just kind of look at it, it's like, yeah, that's Kevin. I can see it. And you kind of ignore the hair. That completely throws you. It's quite wild. Firefly. The great thing about brining meat, even if fat tastes good. There you go. All right. Food, cars, hernias, you name it, we talk about it. But I'm going. I got to get some sleep. All right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks so much, and enjoy all your input. And you make me laugh, you guys. So good on you. I appreciate that. And I will see you next Tuesday at 7 sharp. See you then, guys. Take it easy.